All right, so the challenge number 3. Okay, before starting the challenge, let me introduce myself. My name is Avilas and you are watching Selenium Express. We just reached 100k subscribers. I'm the slowest to reach 100k. I took 6, 7, 8 years. I don't know how many, but yeah, I just reached 100k recently. So this is just a proud moment. Okay, just wanted to share that with you guys. So let's just get started with our challenge. So guys, in this video, we're gonna be doing what? We're gonna be doing a very simple thing. Okay, so let me just start our application that we are creating, and let me just go to the application that we have built. Okay, so this is how our UI is looking right now, and the next thing that we'll be doing right now, we're going to be creating a text box over here, and we are asking the user to guess this 1 2 3 4 5 letter word. Okay, so we don't know what it is, so the user need to guess. So to guess this word, we need to give a text box over here, and we need to give a submit button right over here, so that the user can enter a word and can try it out whether that word is present inside this particular string which is hidden right now. And if the character that the user is entering, if that matches with any of this string of this word, then we need to unhide it and we have to populate it instead of a blank or a underscore right here. Okay, so forget about all this stuff right now. Our goal is going to be very simple right now. Just create a text box over here with a button. Let the user enter the word over here. First, try to capture the word in your controller, in here, in your code. Let the user enter the word in the front end, and then just capture that word inside here in your controller, in your game controller. Once you capture that word, or once you capture that character that the user is entering, we can proceed further and can do some checks whether that character, if the character that the end user is entering, if that present inside the actual word, then we can do certain stuff. That's the secondary thing. Let's just create the text box right now. So the first thing first, I'll go to the UI. So let's just collapse everything and let's just go to the UI right now inside the source, main, resources, templates, and that's my HTML page. Expand it a little bit. This is my body here. Let's just do one thing. I'm going to be creating a input text box. So I'm going to be writing input type equal to text. Okay. And ID is equal, let's not give any ID for now. For this text box, I'll just give a name to this text box, right? So whatever the value the user is entering inside this text box, the way I will be capturing those text using this name. And this is going to be my parameter name. And I'm going to be saying guest character, okay? Or guest letter, okay? Not guessed word, it's not a word. The user will enter one character only, okay, inside the text box. And that's it. So I'm gonna be ending this up. I'll have a label. So label, and the label is going to be for this text box. And this is what we're gonna say, guess a character, okay, something like this, okay. And there you go. So that's it. And also what I'm going to be doing, let me just see whether this text box is right now populated. Guess a character, and we have this. And I'll be also giving a submit button over here. I'll have a button over here. So I will go to my IntelliJ, and right here I'll have another input and type equal to submit, and let's say the value for this will be try. Okay, so I'll be having that button, yes, try over here. Let me just align this to middle. So I'm going to be having a div here. I'm going to be cutting this div up right here, putting it over here, and I'll be aligning this to the center. So let me copy this align to center, put it over here, Control S, come over here, do a refresh. Come on, man. Yeah, there we go. So we have this right now, guess a character, and everything looks good. So now somebody will give a character over here, and he has to enter try. Once somebody enters try over here, we have to capture this character right now in our backend code, and then we have to process it, and we have to check with some logic that whether that character present inside the randomly chosen word. If it is, then we'll be showing that character over here. So that's the secondary thing. I need to first capture this word right now. So how I'll be capturing this character in my backend code right now, that's something that you need to have a guess. Okay, can you pause this video right now and let me know how I'll be able to capture this later, enter by the end user in my backend code? Let me know in the comments first if you are very new to Spring Boot, and if you're practicing Spring Boot, if you're a pro in Spring Boot, no need to comment. I know you know it. It's a simple annotation that's called request parameter or request param. Okay, let's just see how to utilize it. Before that, let me have some water. My doctor asked me to have a lot of fluids. Guys, I had a fever. I had a fever for so many days, and I could not explain how I felt. Maybe I never had a fever like this in my entire life. It's a typhoid fever, but we detected it late. I treated it as a viral fever, but it was not. So whenever you have fever, taste it once, twice, thrice in 7 days if it is not going down. So yeah. Anyhow, I'm feeling a little better right now. So let's just implement this thing. Okay. Cool. So right now, the first thing is whenever somebody is trying to do a submit, what should we do? I want somebody to move to a URL. Okay. So whenever somebody does a submit, I'll have a form over here, and I'll wrap this input text box and the submit button with inside this form and form first of all, and I'll just have a shift of a tab over here just to move it a little bit, and maybe I'll have another tab over here just to move it a little bit. Okay, this looks good. Now in this form, when somebody will have a submit, when somebody clicks the submit button over here or the try button over here, I want them to go to an URL. Okay, let them go to the same URL, game home, which is this URL. Okay, let them go over there. Okay, and what I have to do over here, let's just go to the HTML page. Let's say this is whenever somebody hit the try button over here, there will be a get request, because obviously I want them to go to the game home URL that I have already developed over here, and this is a get mapping. So whenever somebody hit this button, I want them to go to this URL, which is a get request. So I need to have a method which is get. So now what I'm saying, hit this button, then a get request will be fired from my browser to the backend, and this will be the URL that will be fired, okay, when this try button will be hit. And now let's just see whether that is happening. Okay, so now if I'll go over here, do a refresh. Okay, if I'm gonna do this is something that I'm guessing, enter try. Cool. Now what happened is I can see localhost 8080. Why I missed that home endpoint, game home. This is something that I want to hit. This is the form action. Can I just remove this slash from here and try one more time? Can I go back, do a refresh? Okay, I'm in the game home endpoint right now. Whenever I'll enter something over here and again hit try, then I just want to go to this endpoint. Can I just check? Try. Yeah, cool. Now I went to the same endpoint called game home, but right now I have a key and value pair. The key is guest char. and the value is A. If you remember here, the input text box that we have created, the name over here is called guest char. So this text box is represented as guest char, and the value that I'm entering over here is, let's say, A or B or C or D. Whenever I do a try, this is the key, this is the value, this is my request parameter. Whenever I'm hitting something over here and doing a try, I'm making a request to this URL. So this is the request that I'm hitting, and with this I have a request parameter over here called guest character, which has a value called A, and this is the inserted value that the user has entered, and they have written a question mark just to have these things concatenated with my URL. So this is just a separator between my URL and the key and value pair that I have. Okay, now let's say the user can enter anything, and this value that we have will go to this URL. So inside this URL, this is the request parameter that we have to capture. And I told you how to capture that. So you have to go to the game controller. This is the URL which is being hit whenever somebody is hitting this try button. And here we are having this request parameter. Copy this. This is the parameter which is coming in the request. So I have to capture it. So this is the request parameter name. So how to capture this request parameter? Wrap it off with a double quote. This is the request parameter name, and just wrap it off with a moon bracket, and then just write request param. Okay, I want to capture the request param, which name is this, and whatever the value this has, I want to bind it with a string, because I know it's coming this A or B or C or D. This is a character, but whatever which comes in the request, that's a string, right? So I want to capture it with a string, even though it's a character. That's fine. I'm going to store it inside the string, and I'm going to be saying guest word. Okay, so I just capture this string over here and binded it over this. And after binding with this, then I just want to check whether I am able to capture it or not. Let's say S out, and let's say captured guest word each. Okay, and then copy and paste the word over here. Let's just check whether we are able to capture the word over here. If we capture, it's not the guest word, it's a guest character, right? Because this is going to be a single letter word. That's fine. String guest character. String guest character. This sounds bad, but it's fine. Okay. So let me just check. Right now, let me just give E over here. Okay. What happened? Not found. No resources found. Guest character. Can I go back? Okay. Can I just B here? Enter. Yeah. Now it's fine. Now the guest character is B. Let's just see the console. Where is the console? Can I just minimize this one? The guest character is B. Can I switch it? Can I just write C? And am I able to capture this? The captured guest word is C. Can I write D here? And I'm obviously capturing that over here. So whatever you're going to be writing here, A, B, C, D, E, whatever, then you will be able to capture it over here, because this is the request parameter that you are sending, and I'm going to capture it over here inside this URL. Inside this URL only the request parameter is coming, so I'm just capturing it over here, binding it, and putting it over here. But our goal is successful and our challenge is completed, but there is a small problem I'm sure that you'll be facing. Let's say obviously let's say because see, there are two things. First thing is that so whenever you're going to be coming to this page, this game home page, how it will be coming? You're going to be coming like this: localhost 8080/game home. This is the URL first you will be hitting, and whenever you will be hitting this URL, there is no request parameter called guest whatever that request parameter called guest character. You are not sending that request parameter with this request. You are going to do enter, and this is a bad request. As you can see, it's a 400. That means it's a client error. That means the client, I'm not hitting the URL correctly. Okay, that's why I'm just getting a 400 series error. Whenever you are seeing a 400 series error, means this is a client error. You as a client making some mistake whenever you are hitting this endpoint, but I'm doing everything correct, right? But the problem is it is saying there is a missing servlet request parameter exception. Required parameter called guest character is not present. This string is not present. So what it is expecting that whenever we'll be hitting this endpoint, we need to give this request parameter and we have to give some word, let's say A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever, then only this endpoint will work. Then only you can see right now I have entered D. But if somebody need to come to this URL, they will come like this, right? So now I'm just getting an exception. So whenever I'm hitting this endpoint, whenever I'm hitting this request, there is no guarantee that there will be a request parameter called guest char will be present inside the request, right? So how can we make it happen? Because what we are doing, whenever we are hitting this request, here we have already coded it in that way, request parameter. It is looking for this guest character request parameter inside this request and it is not finding it. So what I'm going to say, okay, this is something that you are looking for. This is the request parameter that you are looking for. This is not compulsory. This is not required. So there is another attribute over here. If you're going to do a control space, you can see there are some attribute. I'm going to see this required equal to false. I'm going to be doing. So with this, by default, the required is true, I feel. Okay, so if I'll go inside this, the required is by default true. You can see. So now can I go back? Okay, go back again. Okay, so now I'm making this required as false. What I'm saying that whenever somebody is hitting this request, it's not compulsory that this request parameter will be present inside the request. Okay, if it is not present, then that's fine. Okay, just assign null to this, right? So let's just see if that happens. Do a control S right now. I'm going to be hitting the same URL again. Do enter. It's not loaded. Do enter. Come on, man, it's working fine right now. We have no request parameter called guest character right now. Okay, and it's working fine. Copy this endpoint right now from here, control C, go to anywhere else, paste it, and it's working fine, right? And if you see the console right now, can I just show you the console right now? The guest word is null because obviously somebody has not hit anything over here. But right now, if you're hitting A, okay, now again, whenever we do a submit, we are redirecting to the same URL. And here this time we have this guest char request parameter present with a value A. Then obviously we'll be able to capture it right over here and we will be printing it over here. And if I'll come over here, I can see guest word is A. So right now you can just see this endpoint without a request parameter or a request parameter over here, whatever that you want to insert right over here. Okay, and we are able to capture it. Everything looks good. So we're able to capture the guest character. Now the challenge number 4, let's just process it. Let's just capture, after capturing that, let's just process it and let's just check if somebody is hitting V here. Okay, whatever the word which has been chosen over here, if that word does have a V in it. Right now, what is the word which has been chosen here? I don't know. Let's just be a little choosy with this console. And the randomly chosen word is right now light. If somebody enters V right now, if that V is inside that light string, if that inside that light, if we have a V character in it, we have to check. And if that matches, we have to populate it over here. And that's something that we have to do next in our next challenge. But till then, if you're watching it, why didn't you subscribe? I'm just being a little, it's this little cringe, isn't it? I never say it this many times, but if you're watching it, just do subscribe. No, why you're not subscribing? Do subscribe, follow me on Insta, and follow me on my Facebook page. And also, if you have any difficulties, put that issue on my Facebook group called Selenium Express Support. I'll be starting it again maybe from today onwards. Okay, so that's it. So just practice this much and I'll see you in the next challenge. If you want to practice the next challenge as well, just practice it by your own and then see the next video. And who knows, you don't have to even watch that. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, bye bye, take care and happy coding.